Grandma passed away, so I went to the bank to close her account. The balance? Exactly 0.42 yuan. The teller, wearing that standard issue professional smile, slid 40 fen across the counter to me. Ma'am, I'm terribly sorry, but we're out of 1 fen coins at the moment. How about we make it up to you next time? No, I said. I want it now. She let out a heavy sigh, looking utterly helpless. I'm sorry, but you're holding up other customers. The very next second, she buzzed for security, and I was escorted out of the building. I didn't hesitate. I picked up my phone and filed a formal complaint immediately. That very night, she put me on blast on social media. Met a total nut job today. Actually reported me over 2 cents. Must be desperate for cash. The attached photo was a transaction slip with a half-hearted attempt at censorship. My ID number was clearly visible. Overnight, the cyberbullying was so intense my phone practically crashed. Early the next morning, standing right in front of the bank's entrance, I called the police. I'd like to report a crime. Someone has leaked my private citizens' information. And while you're at it, please investigate this bank's transaction records. I suspect the money they've skimmed amounts to a lot more than just my 2 cents. The police arrived in record time. When the 2 officers walked into the lobby manager was busy trying to talk me down. Miss G, look, is it really necessary to make such a scene over something so trivial? This is our fault. We are willing to pay you 500 yuan for your emotional distress. What do you say? I just stared at him, dead silent. The police walked up to me. Hello? Are you the one who called it in? Yes, that was me. I handed my phone over to the officer. The screen was displaying Zhao Qian's little red book profile page. On the transaction slip in the photo, my ID number was completely uncensored, crystal clear. This person, a teller named Zhao Qian, leaked my private information on social media. The comment section already contains thousands of insults directed at me. Furthermore, I have been doxxed and have received countless abusive text messages. The older officer's face darkened. He looked at the lobby manager. Call the teller named Zhao Qian out here. The manager, a man named Wang, whose face was a sweating mass of flesh, bowed slightly. Hello, officer. Is there some kind of misunderstanding here? Little Zhao is just a kid fresh out of college. Maybe she was just venting after work. She's just being immature. Leaking a citizen's private information isn't being immature. It is breaking the law. I answered for him. Manager Wang's expression turned even uglier. Not long after, Zhao Qian came out from the staff entrance. She paused when she saw the police, but the moment she saw me, she put on an act like she was the one who had been terribly wronged. Officer, I was just venting to my friends. I didn't know this was against the law. Can't I just delete the post? I'll apologize to her. As she spoke, she tried to bow to me. I took a step back and turned sideways to dodge it. The young officer taking notes looked up at Zhao Qian. Your actions have violated the Public Security Administration punishments law. Since the situation is severe, it may constitute the crime of infringing on citizens' personal information under the criminal law. Please come with us to the station for investigation. Zhao Qian's knees buckled. Manager Wang, say something. Manager Wang? Manager Wang wiped his sweat, desperately trying to sweet-talk the police. Officer, can't we make an exception? We can settle this privately. We will definitely give Miss G a satisfactory answer. This is a public prosecution case. Talking to us won't help. The older officer waved his hand, signaling his colleague to take her away. As Zhao Qian was dragged off, she was crying snot and tears, still cursing me. You psycho! All this over 2 cents? You'll get what's coming to you. I ignored her screaming and turned to the older officer who had stayed behind. Officer, besides the data leak, I have another crime to report. Go on. I suspect this bank is using its position to systematically embezzle small amounts of customer assets. Manager Wang, who had just started to relax, went rigid. The officer looked at me. Do you have evidence? Yesterday afternoon, when this teller, Zhao Qian, was closing my account, she explicitly stated the balance was 42 fen, but only returned 40 fen. The remaining 2 fen were simply let slide. I suspect this was not her individual behavior, but a standard operation for this branch. 2 cents from countless customers, accumulated over time, would amount to a significant sum. Where exactly did that money go? Manager Wang immediately retorted. Total nonsense. Our accounts are processed by computer systems. Every single fen is accounted for. There is no way there's a problem. Is that so? I asked him. Then let's pull up yesterday's cash flow and system logs right now. Let's see if there are any other fractions that were let slide besides my 2 cents. The officer thought this made sense and looked at Manager Wang. Please cooperate and let us see yesterday's accounts. Manager Wang subconsciously tried to straighten his tie but ended up pulling it crooked. Officer, retrieving transaction records requires authorization from the head office. A single branch like ours doesn't have that authority. It doesn't matter. I interrupted him. I have already filed a real name report with the Banking Regulatory Commission. I imagine their investigation team will be here shortly with that authorization. Manager Wang looked at me, his mouth opening and closing like a fish, but no sound came out. I met his gaze dead on. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is GZ. I am a financial auditor. And looking at bank statements, that is exactly what I do best. Zhao Qian was given 5 days of administrative detention and fined 500 yuan. The Banking Regulatory Commission called me the very next day, stating that a special task force had been established. They would conduct a thorough investigation into the embezzlement of small customer assets that I reported. The bank's headquarters reacted quickly too. Manager Wang was temporarily suspended. A vice president named Chen contacted me personally. His attitude was incredibly polite, apologizing on behalf of the bank and promising a serious handling of the matter to give me a proper explanation. I hung up the phone and didn't believe a single word. With massive institutions like this, their first instinct is always to bury the truth. Sure enough, that night, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. At first, it was strange numbers. Pick up, and it's just screaming profanity, words too dirty to even repeat. I immediately set my phone to block all unknown callers. Then came Zhao Chen's friends and family. I don't know how they got my number, but they found all my social media accounts too. A woman claiming to be Zhao Chen's cousin sent me over 100 voice messages. How can your heart be so poisonous? We got our Qian detained because of you. Isn't that enough? For 2 cents, you want to brutally ruin a young girl's future? Are you even human? You should leave people a way out. Do you really have to drive her to extinction? Oh, and then there was Zhao Chen's boyfriend. He was even more direct. You bitch, stop being so shameless. Drop the case right now, or I'll find someone to end you. He sent a selfie holding a mop handle, with the background being the main gate of my apartment complex. I didn't reply. I just screenshotted everything and saved it. Manager Wang's text came in too. Miss G, it is better to resolve enmity than to keep it. Zhao Chen has been fired, and you vented your anger. The bank is willing to compensate you 50,000 yuan. Let's end this here. What do you say? If you keep making a scene, it won't be good for either of us. You are still young, and the road ahead is long. You know what I mean. The threat was written between the lines. I screenshotted and saved this message as well. They moved fast. On Little Red Book, a flood of new posts appeared. The titles were all variations of the same theme, exposing the cold-blooded auditor woman who drove a teller to death over 2 cents. Breaking news, the teller sister had a mental breakdown and committed suicide. Forcing someone to a dead end over 2 cents, is this normal? The posts were vivid, claiming Zhao Chen lost her job because of my report, and under my continued pressure, she couldn't take it anymore and slit her wrists. She was currently being resuscitated in the hospital. There was a photo attached of a wrist wrapped in gauze, lying on a hospital bed. It was pixelated, but that dyed purple hair was definitely Zhao Qian. The comment section exploded. Holy crap, is this real? Driving someone to suicide over 2 cents? Is this woman a devil? This type of person is terrifying. My friend works at that hospital. Heard she lost a lot of blood, it's critical. Think you're so cool being an auditor? Bah, people like you who abuse small amounts of power are the most disgusting. My name, my company, and even my college photos were dug up. My phone was blown up. My company's reception line was blown up. I looked at the vicious words popping up on my screen and turned off my phone without a change in expression. Did they think this would make me back down? I opened my laptop and posted a thread on an anonymous overseas forum. The title was 10,000 yuan bounty, looking for backdoor vulnerabilities or artificially set financial black holes in a certain commercial bank's software system. This was the fastest way I could think of to find out where that money went. In less than 24 hours, I got a hit. The guy didn't waste time with small talk. He cut straight to the chase and sent over an encrypted zip file. Here's what you asked for. Send 10,000 yuan to this Bitcoin wallet address. I cracked open the file. Inside was a block of source code and a detailed documentation log. Once I finished reading it, I finally understood exactly how Manager Wang and his crew were pulling this off. The software system this bank used had a backdoor built into it by a developer from day one. This backdoor allowed for the creation of an invisible slush fund. Whenever a teller handled amounts involving decimal points like my 2 cents, the system would trigger a pop-up prompt, transfer discrepancy to suspense account for adjustment. If the teller clicked yes, the money would be deducted from the customer's account, but it wouldn't hit the bank's general ledger. Instead, it would be funneled straight into that invisible slush fund. On the customer's receipt, it showed the money as paid out. On the bank's books, it showed the account as balanced. It was completely untraceable, a ghost in the machine. After that programmer quit, he sold the key to this backdoor to Manager Wang, who was just a client manager at the time. Manager Wang used this to chip away at customer assets, bit by bit, like an ant moving a mountain. From a few fen here to a few 10 fen there, and even small balances in dormant accounts, he funneled it all into that pool. Over 10 years, the amount in that slush fund reached a staggering figure. 9,230,000. And Zhao Qian? She was just one of the accomplices Manager Wang had recruited. Every teller who participated in this scheme got a cut from Wang. Zhao Qian came from a poor background, but thanks to this, she was living a life far beyond her salary. The designer bags, the luxury goods, everything she flaunted on social media, it was all paid for by those countless 2 cents that people let slide. At the end of the document was the transaction log for the slush fund. Every deposit, every withdrawal, crystal clear. The withdrawal accounts pointed to 3 offshore accounts. And the most recent massive transfer happened the very next day after I called the police. Manager Wang was planning to run. I wired the 10,000 yuan to the hacker. Then, I compiled everything in the file into a new report. But this time, I didn't go back to the Banking Regulatory Commission. I dialed a different number. Hello, Central Inspection Team, Financial Crimes Reporting Hotline. Hello, my name is GZ. I am filing a real name report against a Mr. Wang from a certain commercial bank branch. He is suspected of exploiting system vulnerabilities to embezzle customer funds over a long period. The amount involved is nearly 10 million, and there are signs he is attempting to flee the country. There was a brief silence on the other end of the line. Miss G, please tell us the details. Zhao Qian's boyfriend got arrested. He really couldn't hold back. He tried to pry my lock at midnight, and my newly installed smart doorbell camera caught everything in 4K. The police found a switchblade on him. His charges were upgraded from disturbing the peace to attempted burglary with a deadly weapon. Zhao Qian's family panicked. Her parents cornered me downstairs at my office building, blocking my path, crying and begging. Miss G, we are kneeling for you! Zhao Qian's mom tried to drop to her knees, but my colleagues stopped her. We failed as parents. Qian is just immature. Her boyfriend is the jerk. Please, be the bigger person and let them go. If she goes to jail, her life is ruined. I looked at them and didn't say a word. When he was prying my lock with a knife, did he wonder if my life would be ruined? When she incited thousands of people to cyberbully me, photoshopped my funeral portrait, and cursed my whole family to die, did she wonder what would happen to me? Her dad shakingly pulled an envelope out of a cloth bag. Miss G, this is our life savings. 100,000 yuan. Please take it. Consider it their apology. I didn't take it. Keep the money. You'll need it to hire lawyers for them. But let me remind you, attempted armed burglary with hard evidence, the best lawyer in the world won't change the verdict. I walked past them and into the building. They wailed behind me, calling me a heartless monster. I didn't care. 2 days later, a joint investigation team from the Central Inspection Group and the Economic Crime Investigation Corps parachuted into the provincial branch. Manager Wang was taken away from the airport VIP lounge. He was just about to board a flight to Singapore. His wife and kids had already fled the country a day earlier. The bank branch was sealed off. All employees were held for interrogation. The invisible slush fund hidden deep in the system was dug up. 9,230,000, not a fen less. However, Manager Wang had already transferred the money offshore in batches. What awaits him is cross-border asset recovery and a very long prison sentence. The news was everywhere. Shocking! Bank insider embezzles millions over a decade. 2 cents triggers major anti-corruption case. Bank system vulnerability exposed. The people online who wanted me dead were suddenly silent. The comments section under Zhao Qian's sob story on Little Red Book flipped instantly. Holy crap! So the teller was a thief all along? Suicide. More like fear of punishment. She's lucky she didn't die. Prison is too good for her. They cyberbullied the auditor? This family is rotten to the core. Support the auditor, lady. Lock these parasites up. Zhao Qian's account was officially banned. As manager Wang's accomplice, even though her cut was only a few thousand yuan, she committed the crime of embezzlement by reason of office. She was detained and fired. Her boyfriend is in prison. She is facing jail time. She didn't ruin my future. She ruined her own. When the dust settled, I got a call from Vice President Chen. He sounded exhausted. Miss G, thank you so much for this. If you hadn't persisted, we don't know how much more damage that cancer, Manager Wang, would have caused. The head office has decided to hire you as an external supervisory consultant. The annual salary is 800,000 yuan. Also, we will pay out the reward you deserve for this incident in full. I listened, saying nothing. Miss G? No need. I said, I didn't do this for money, and I didn't do it for a consultant title. I just wanted to get my grandma's 2 cents back. And I wanted those who despise the rules to get the punishment they deserve. Will all the staff involved at that branch be processed? I asked. Yes. Everyone involved in the fund transfers will be fired and handed over to the judicial authorities. Others who knew but didn't report it will also be strictly punished according to regulations. Good. So, about your appointment? No, thank you. I don't want to have any connection to this place ever again. I hung up and blocked every contact related to them. I cleared all the harassment messages from my social media. The whole world went quiet. A few days later, I received a package. It was from the bank's headquarters. Inside was an apology letter and a bank card. The letter said the card contained a 500,000 yuan reward. The password was 6 zeros. I took the card to an ATM. I withdrew 2 cents. I put the coins in my pocket. Then, I threw the card into the trash can next to me. I don't need their reward. I only want what belongs to me. On the weekend, I went to my grandma's grave. The cemetery was peaceful. I placed that 2 fen coin gently in front of her tombstone. It glinted in the sunlight. Grandma, I got the money back. Every single fen. I stood there for a long time. The breeze blew through the pine trees. I turned and left, never looking back. My life returned to normal. Work, projects, reports. Those people who cursed me online felt like they never existed. Until a month later, I received a friend request from a strange woman. The verification message read, I am Manager Wang's wife. I accepted the request. She messaged me almost immediately. Cheesy, you ruined everything I had. Her profile picture was a selfie on a yacht. Her makeup looked exquisite. I just took back what belonged to me, I replied. Belonged to you? Just for your lousy 2 cents? Do you know how many years old Wang is going to jail because of you? Our home? Our company? It's all gone. He should have thought of this day when he was embezzling other people's property. Stop with the sarcasm. What embezzlement? That was his skill. This is how society works. Capable people are supposed to make big money. Her logic was exactly the same as Zhao Qian's. Every fen he earned is stained with someone else's blood. Bullshit! You're just jealous. You're just a filthy wage slave. What gives you the right to destroy our decades of hard work? GZ, let me tell you, this isn't over. I'm abroad now. You can't touch me, but you can't run. Just you wait. I'm not just going to ruin your reputation. I'm going to make you wish you were dead. Looking at the chat history on the screen, I found it laughable. Mrs. Wang, you don't seem to grasp the situation. Do you think you're safe just because you made it to Singapore? Your joint account with Manager Wang has already been frozen by the Monetary Authority of Singapore for suspected money laundering. Every fen you spend now is being recorded. The money you're using to threaten me, that's dirty money too. Also, did you think I couldn't find you because you're anonymous? I sent over a screenshot. It was her IP address, pinpointed to a luxury apartment in Singapore. My advice? Instead of wasting time threatening me here, you'd better find a good lawyer. Extradition might be slow, but justice is inevitable. She went silent. A long time later, she sent one sentence. Are you the devil? I didn't reply. I packaged the entire chat history, along with her IP address, and sent it to the Economic Crime Police investigating Manager Wang's case. For someone unrepentant like her, the law would teach her how to behave. So, about your appointment? No, thank you. I don't want to have any connection to this place ever again. I hung up and blocked every contact related to them. I cleared all the harassment messages from my social media. The whole world went quiet. A few days later, I received a package. It was from the bank's headquarters. Inside was an apology letter and a bank card. The letter said the card contained a 500,000 yuan reward. The password was 6 zeros. I took the card to an ATM. I withdrew 2 cents. I put the coins in my pocket. Then, I threw the card into the trash can next to me. I don't need their reward. I only want what belongs to me. On the weekend, I went to my grandma's grave. The cemetery was peaceful. I placed that 2 fen coin gently in front of her tombstone. It glinted in the sunlight. Grandma, I got the money back. Every single fen. I stood there for a long time. The breeze blew through the pine trees. I turned and left, never looking back. My life returned to normal. Work, projects, reports. Those people who cursed me online felt like they never existed. Until a month later, I received a friend request from a strange woman. The verification message read, "I am Manager Wang's wife." I accepted the request. She messaged me almost immediately. "Jizi, you ruined everything I had." Her profile picture was a selfie on a yacht. Her makeup looked exquisite. "I just took back what belonged to me," I replied. "Belonged to you? Just for your lousy 2 cents? Do you know how many years old Wang is going to jail because of you? Our home? Our company? It's all gone." He should have thought of this day when he was embezzling other people's property. Stop with the sarcasm. What embezzlement? That was his skill. This is how society works. Capable people are supposed to make big money. Her logic was exactly the same as Zhao Qian's. Every fen he earned is stained with someone else's blood. Bullshit! You're just jealous. You're just a filthy wage slave. What gives you the right to destroy our decades of hard work? Jizi, let me tell you, this isn't over. I'm abroad now. You can't touch me, but you can't run. Just you wait. I'm not just going to ruin your reputation. I'm going to make you wish you were dead. Looking at the chat history on the screen, I found it laughable. Mrs. Wang, you don't seem to grasp the situation. Do you think you're safe just because you made it to Singapore? Your joint account with Manager Wang has already been frozen by the Monetary Authority of Singapore for suspected money laundering. Every fen you spend now is being recorded. The money you're using to threaten me, that's dirty money too. Also, did you think I couldn't find you because you're anonymous? I sent over a screenshot. It was her IP address, pinpointed to a luxury apartment in Singapore. My advice? Instead of wasting time threatening me here, you'd better find a good lawyer. Extradition might be slow, but justice is inevitable. She went silent. A long time later, she sent one sentence. Are you the devil? I didn't reply. I packaged the entire chat history, along with her IP address, and sent it to the Economic Crime Police investigating Manager Wang's case. For someone unrepentant like her, the law would teach her how to behave. Some time passed. Zhao Qian's case went to court. Crime of embezzlement. Amount involved, over 50,000 yuan, considered a significant amount, sentenced to 7 months in prison. Her boyfriend, for attempted home invasion, got 3 years. I saw a photo of Zhao Qian leaving the court on the news. She had cut off her long purple hair and wore no makeup. Reporters shoved microphones in her face, asking if she regretted it. She sobbed into the camera. I regret it. I really regret it. Regret? Maybe, but there's no cure for regret in this world. If you do wrong, you pay the price. That is the simplest truth my grandmother taught me growing up. One day, while I was in a meeting at work, I received a call from a stranger. He claimed to be the newly appointed disciplinary secretary of that bank. Miss G, hello. Sorry to disturb you. His voice was steady. During our internal audit, we discovered a serious issue and wanted to verify it with you. Go ahead. When combing through Manager Wang's case files, we noticed you initially reported to the Banking Regulatory Commission via a phone call. Yes. However, our records show that before you called the commission, you made another call to our head office's customer service center. I paused. That had indeed happened. Before complaining to the regulator, I followed protocol and called the bank's official support. A male agent answered. After I explained the situation, he just perfunctorily noted it down, said he'd escalate it, and then nothing happened. It was precisely because of his inaction that I chose to go straight to the regulatory body. That is correct, I answered. Do you remember that agent's ID number? I thought for a moment. I think it was 8,457. The secretary on the other end breathed a little heavier. Miss G, thank you for the information. That agent, ID 8457, did not report your complaint as required. Instead, immediately after your call, he used his personal phone to send your complaint details and personal information to Manager Wang. This agent is Manager Wang's own nephew. After he graduated, Manager Wang used connections to get him into the head office call center. His job was supposed to be handling customer complaints, but he became Manager Wang's eyes planted at headquarters. We investigated. Over the years, every single complaint regarding that branch that landed in his hands disappeared without a trace. A complete chain of interest. A deep-rooted network of connections. Manager Wang played the local tyrant at the branch, while his nephew acted as his protective umbrella at headquarters. No wonder he could hide safely for 10 years. If I hadn't insisted on those 2 cents, if I didn't understand auditing and the law and how to play their game, any ordinary depositor would have been crushed by them or bullied into retreating by online harassment long ago. Miss G, this time, we will not show any leniency. Head office has decided to fire him and hand him over to judicial authorities as an accomplice. There is also one thing we would like to request of you. Go ahead. We hope you will appear in court as a key witness in this case. I remained silent for a moment. I didn't want to be involved anymore. But thinking of simple people's justice, I changed my mind. Okay, I agree. I wanted to see with my own eyes that everyone in this chain of corruption got the punishment they deserved. On the day of the trial, I finally saw customer service agent number 8457. His name was Lu Yang, a young man wearing black-framed glasses who looked like a total nerd. In the defendant's dock, he was shaking uncontrollably. When my testimony, along with the text records of him tipping off Manager Wang, were presented as evidence, he completely crumbled. I didn't do it on purpose. My uncle said he'd take care of it. I didn't know it would get this serious, he cried, looking at me. Miss G, I'm sorry. I really know I was wrong. Please forgive me. I looked at him and said nothing. I wouldn't forgive him, and I certainly wouldn't forgive him on behalf of all those innocent customers who asked him for help but got nothing. The judge handed down the verdict. Liu Yang, as an accomplice to Manager Wang, was found guilty of occupational embezzlement and infringing on citizens' personal information. Punished for multiple crimes, he was sentenced to 1 year and 6 months in prison. Walking out of the courthouse, the bank's chief of internal affairs was waiting for me at the door. He reached out his hand to me. Miss G, thank you. This is the justice our bank owed you. I didn't shake his hand. I didn't do this for your bank, I said. He froze for a moment, then gave a bitter smile. I know. Regardless, on behalf of all the deceived customers, I thank you. I didn't say anything else. I turned and walked away, and with that, everyone in this chain, Manager Wang, Manager Wang's wife, Zhao Qian, Zhao Qian's boyfriend, and Lu Yang, all got exactly what they deserved. Because of those initial 2 cents, the entire web was torn open, and then tightened shut. No one escaped. Because of the professional capability I displayed in this case, the company offered to promote me to deputy director of the audit department. I turned it down. I handed in my resignation letter. My boss called me in for a talk, trying everything to make me stay. GZ, you are the face of our company now. Why do you want to leave? This case has made you famous in the entire industry. Do you know how many people want to poach you? It's a waste to leave now. I shook my head. Boss, I'm tired. After going through this storm, I had seen too much. Human greed, online violence, loopholes in the system. I needed some time to pull myself out of this exhaustion. The boss finally agreed. He gave me a very generous severance package. I used that money to give myself a very long vacation. I went to many places. I turned off my phone. I didn't watch the news. I didn't contact anyone. I just walked quietly, looked quietly, all by myself. During my journey, for some reason, I picked up a call from an unknown number. On the other end was a voice that sounded old and hoarse. Is this Miss GZ? It is. I am Zhao Qian's mother. My heart remained calm. Is something the matter? Qian. She's behaved well in prison. Her sentence was reduced. She's coming out next week. Okay. After she gets out, she wants to apologize to you in person. No need. I refused directly. Miss G, we know we wronged you. We don't ask for your forgive. I interrupted her. It's not necessary. We are square. The law gave her the punishment, and I got the justice I wanted. From now on, we are strangers. There was silence on the other end of the phone. I could hear her suppressed sobbing. Miss G, she choked out. I just wanted to tell you, thank you. I was a little surprised. Thank you for letting us know that when you do something wrong, you have to pay the price. It's not something money can fix. Qian wrote many letters from inside. She said she figured it out. It was her own greed and vanity that hurt her. She said that after she gets out, she wants to start a new life. I listened quietly, saying nothing. Sorry to disturb you, Miss G. I wish you all the best. She hung up. I held my phone. Start a new life? I hope so, but that has nothing to do with me anymore. My path lies ahead, and I won't stop for a single second for the people and things of the past. For the final leg of my journey, I returned to my grandmother's hometown. It was a small southern town with stone paths and white walls. Grandma's old house was still there. I had it renovated but kept its original charm. The osmanthus tree in the courtyard, planted by my grandmother the year I was born, had grown into a towering canopy. I dragged a lounge chair under the tree, just like when I was a kid, smelling the flowers and watching the clouds drift by. That was when I received an email from the hacker who had tipped me off about the bank's back door. Heard you quit. News travels fast, I replied. I've been following the whole thing. You did great. Better than I imagined. Why did you help me? I had always been curious about that. Because I'm the one who wrote that backdoor code. I stared at the email, stunned. When I was young, I worked as a programmer at that bank. I was young, arrogant, and thought my skills were untouchable, so I left a back door just for fun. Later, I quit to start my own business and forgot about it. Until I saw your reward post. I checked and realized Manager Wang had been using my code to do evil. The amount of money involved scared me. In a way, I was an accomplice. Helping you was my way of repenting. I returned the bounty money to you. I saw the news. Because of this incident, the bank fixed all system vulnerabilities, established stricter regulations, and fired a large group of corrupt staff. You are the reason that bank is a little cleaner now. What are your plans? He asked. I don't know. Rest for a while. Interested in joining my company? We do cybersecurity. We specialize in helping companies catch moles and plug leaks. I think you'd be a perfect fit. He sent over the company profile. It was a startup. Not huge, but famous in the industry. I looked at the email and thought back to the courtroom. I thought of the faces of Manager Wang, Lu Yang, and the others, twisted by greed. I thought of the countless 2 cents that had been stolen. There will always be corners in this world where the sunlight doesn't reach. There are countless loopholes and back doors. Someone has to be the one to plug them. I smiled and typed my reply. Sure, I'll send my resume tomorrow. I started my new job. The boss was that former bank programmer, Zhao Tao. He was a tech nerd, not much of a talker, but his logic was flawless and his skills were top tier. We got along well. My job was to lead a team specifically responsible for internal audits and risk screening for financial institutions. To put it bluntly, we were paid to go into banks, brokerage firms, and fund companies to pick fights. Using tech, we replicated the Manager Wang model and developed software specifically designed to scan for hidden slush funds in financial systems. The results were shocking. In less than half a year, we dug up 3 other financial institutions with similar problems. The amounts involved ranged from millions to tens of millions. Every time, I followed the faintest clues, tore away the camouflage, and found the Manager Wang hiding in the deepest shadows. I didn't need to call the police or the media anymore. I just had to drop a complete evidence report on the board of directors' desk. I became something of a legend in the industry. They called me the Black Swan. Because when I showed up, it meant a massive, hidden risk in the company was about to be exposed. Many companies respected me. Others feared me. Once, the CEO of a trust company asked to meet me privately before we started our audit. In a high-end private club, he handed me a card. Director G, there are 5 million yuan in this card, a small token. Our company's situation is complicated. Please, look the other way. I picked up the card and looked at it. CEO Zhang, do you know about the manager Wang case? I asked him. The smile on his face froze. I know of it. Manager Wang tried to solve his problem with money too. First, he offered 50,000 yuan, then 500,000 yuan. You are more generous than him. I slid the card back across the table. I don't need money. I just simply hate people like you. I stood up and walked out of the room. 3 years later, I was now a partner at Zhao Tao's company. We had become the top cybersecurity and financial audit firm in the country. One day, I was walking past a shopping mall. I saw a woman in a janitor's uniform, struggling to mop the floor. She was thin, her hair was dry and yellow, and her movements were slow. People were walking around her to avoid contact. I stopped. It was Zhao Qian. She seemed to see me, too. Her body went stiff, and she instinctively buried her head lower, trying to hide herself. I watched her for a few seconds, said nothing, and turned to walk into the mall. We were truly done with each other. She had paid her price and was living the life she deserved, and I had long since moved on to mine. That night, Zhao Tao took me out to dinner. We were celebrating the biggest contract our company had ever landed. During the meal, he raised his glass. To you, Jeezy. If you hadn't insisted on those 2 cents 3 years ago, we wouldn't be here today. I smiled and clinked glasses with him. No. With or without those 2 cents, I would still be me. Those 2 cents just helped me see things clearly a bit faster and helped me find the path I was meant to walk a little sooner. On the way home, I got a call from my mom. ZZ, your aunt is going crazy lately. She's bad-mouthing you in the family group chat every day. She says now that you're rich, you've turned your back on your poor relatives. She calls you heartless and cold-blooded. This aunt was a distant relative on my dad's side. When I was being cyberbullied, she was the one mocking me the hardest in the family chat. Recently, her son wanted a job at our company. He tried to pull strings to reach me, but I rejected him. Ignore her, I said calmly. I know. I'm just so angry. What kind of person does that? Mom was fuming. Mom, I interrupted her. If a fly buzzes in your ear, do you stop to argue with it? Of course not. I'd slap it dead. Exactly. Hanging up the phone, I looked at the bright city lights outside the car window. This world will always have malice. You can't eliminate it all. All you can do is become strong enough to ignore it. Then walk your own path and live your own life. My phone vibrated. It was a message from Zhao Tao. New case. A hedge fund. Their books look a bit weird. Meeting tomorrow? I replied. Sure, no problem. My car merged into the traffic, driving forward. Up ahead, there were plenty more Manager Wangs waiting for me. And I was actually enjoying the hunt, because I knew clearly that what I was protecting wasn't just rules and justice. I was protecting the simple, peaceful life under my grandmother's osmanthus tree.